All right, if you're gearing up for the NPPE, you know how tricky those ethics questions can be, right? Well, today we're going to tear one apart. We're looking at a super common real world scenario about side jobs, something pretty much every engineer bumps into at some point. And listen, this isn't just about memorizing answers to pass a test. This is about understanding how to handle a massive professional challenge, conflict of interest. So let's dive in and really break this thing down.
Okay, so here's the setup. We've got our engineer, Eager, who works at a company called Engco. Now, a client comes along and offers him a side job, but here's the kicker. It's a project that his own company, Engco, already turned down because it was too expensive. So what's the most ethical thing for Eager to do here? Is it A, just proceed with the job and don't tell Engco? B, inform Engco and ask for permission before he even thinks about taking it? C, only go for it if the client isn't a P.Eng? Or D, just decline the job flat out because it might create a conflict of interest? Have a think about which one feels right to you as we walk through this.
Okay, before we jump to the right answer, let's pull back the curtain a little. It's so important to get what these questions are really trying to figure out about you. This isn't just about whether side jobs are okay or not. No, the NPPE is testing something much deeper. They want to see if you can spot the core ethical principle that's hiding in plain sight.
And what is that core concept? The big one. The idea that this whole problem revolves around is conflict of interest. Seriously, this is one of the biggest topics in engineering ethics and law, and for good reason. It's because this kind of thing comes up all the time in the real world.
So what does that even mean, conflict of interest? Well, let's put it simply. It's any situation where your own personal interests, like, say, making some extra money on the side, could mess with your professional judgment. It's like you're trying to serve two masters. In Eager's case, his personal desire for this job is bumping right up against his main responsibility, which is his loyalty to his employer, Engco. All right, now that we know we're dealing with a conflict of interest, let's figure out what the truly professional, ethically solid move is for Eager. Okay, so the right answer here is option B. Inform Engco and ask for their permission before taking the side job. Now, I know that might sound kind of obvious to some of you, but trust me, the why behind it is what really matters here. Yep, that's it. B is our winner. But hold on, just knowing the answer is only step one. To really nail this on the exam and in your career, you have to get the reasoning. So let's dig into why this approach is considered the absolute gold standard for how a professional should act. So, why is this the best answer? Well, look at these points. First, and this is huge, it respects your duty to your employer. That's always your top priority. Second, it's all about transparency. Just being open and honest. Disclosure, just telling them what's up, is seriously your best weapon against any potential conflict. By going to Engco, Eager isn't being sneaky. This protects his own reputation for sure, and this is the critical part, it gives Engco the chance to give informed consent. They get to look at the situation and say yay or nay. That's what being a professional is all about. Okay, so we know why B is right, but that's only half the game, right? To really ace the NPEP, you've got to understand why the other answers are wrong. Think of these as the common traps that are so easy to fall into. All right, let's look at trap number 1, option A. This is the what they don't know won't hurt them approach. Just take the job, keep it quiet. The excuse? Hey, it's a personal opportunity. Yeah, no, this is just completely wrong. We're not talking about a small mistake here. This is a major ethical foul. It shatters the trust that has to exist between you and your employer. Think about it. The second Eager decides to keep this a secret, it's not a potential conflict anymore. It becomes an actual conflict, all because of the deception. He's actively hiding something. This is a direct violation of his duty of loyalty, and it could get him fired. Not just that, but he could face disciplinary action from his professional association. This is, without a doubt, the fastest way to tank your career.
Okay, next up, option C. This is an interesting one. It throws in this detail about the client being a PNE and suggests that somehow matters. And this, my friends, is a classic exam trick. It's a total distractor. They throw in this piece of information to see if you'll get sidetracked and overthink it. Let me be super clear. The client's professional status has absolutely nothing to do with the real ethical problem here. You have to remember, who does Eager owe his duty to in this situation? It's his employer, Engco. It makes zero difference if the client is an engineer, a chef, or an astronaut. The conflict is about Eager's relationship with his company.
The exam loves to test you on this. Can you cut through the noise and identify the one relationship that truly matters? And finally, we get to option D. Just walk away. Decline the job. And you know what? This one feels pretty safe, doesn't it? It sounds like the cautious, ethical thing to do.
But, and this is a really subtle but important point, it's not the most correct answer. Yes, it avoids the conflict, that's true. But it also dodges a fundamental professional duty, the duty to communicate. Here's the deal. Not all potential conflicts are automatic no's. A lot of them can actually be managed perfectly well, as long as there's disclosure and permission. By just saying no right away, Eager is skipping the most professional step he could take, which is to just talk to his employer. The first and best ethical move is to start a conversation. For all he knows, Engco might say, sure, go for it. You'll never know if you don't ask.
Okay, let's boil all this down. What are the key things you absolutely need to remember for the exam? Think of this next part as your master key for handling any question that looks even remotely like this one.
Just lock this simple 3-step rule into your brain. 1. Disclose. Be an open book with your employer. No secrets. 2. Seek permission. Don't just mention it, formally ask for approval. Pro tip, get it in writing. And 3, act with integrity. If you do get the green light, you have to make absolutely sure that your side gig never gets in the way of your main job.
All right, quick review of our key terms. Conflict of interest, that was the clash between Eager's personal gain and his professional duty. Duty to employer, that's the loyalty and good faith he owes to Engco. And disclosure, that's the magic wand here, the simple act of being upfront and honest, which is the #1 tool for managing these situations.
And all of this really brings us back to one central idea. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What really separates a potential conflict from an actual one? As we saw today with Eager's story, so often the difference comes down to one simple, powerful action: disclosure. Thanks for joining me.